Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Size Non-Classic. This is episode number 538 and Doubleshot number 445. Yep, two Women from Marvel traits. First up, it is Miss Marvel, Volume 8, Mecca. Collecting Miss Marvel 19 to 24. Written by G. Willow Wilson, who's still the writer of the series. By the way, she's written the series since 2013, which, as of right now, because I haven't heard anything about what's going to happen with this title because of Marvel's Fresh Start, she's probably currently one of three writers I can think of who actually is still on the book for more than she's actually one of two people who've been on the book the longest. I mean, she's probably the second longest writer on one particular book because she's written this book since 2013. While in the case of Jason Aaron, he's been writing his book since I think it was 2012. Yeah, he's writing Thor. Now the artwork in here is done by a few different artists. Let's see. You have on 1922 you have Marco Falia and Diego Orgiti. I think it's the pronounced person. I'm sorry for the Spanish name, but I'm doing the best I can with this thing. The cover art is done by Nelson Blake II and Rachel Rosenberg for issue 19, and for remaining issues, Rachel Rosenberg does it with Valerio Shigati. I think that's the pronounced person's name. Now, there are two story arcs in here. One is sort of a leftover from the Civil War II tie-in about, one particular person. I think her name is... there's one character here called Discord. Turns out he's actually an old classmate of his. The other, of course, is a woman who was basically... I think her name is Lockup. Yeah, Lockup. Where, here's the thing. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be a Secret Empire tie-in. I have no idea. Heck, I don't remember. It's been a while since I've read these issues. Where, apparently, if anybody has a suit power, you're automatically arrested. It doesn't matter if you're a mutant, inhuman, or superpowered human. If you have powers, you'll be arrested. And luckily enough, this was overturned really quickly. And luckily enough, this particular storyline lasted for a good chunk of this particular trade. And it took a circuit court judge to overrule these fake police officers, and they were all arrested on the spot. And they were going to get to a shootout with actual actual police officers. Of course, these people were using futuristic weapons. I'm not really sure exactly where they get these weapons from, but yeah. Also, there's a reference to what happened in Civil War II with this character, Lockup, where you just lock up anybody who people or Ulysses think they commit a crime, and it's like profiling and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't really know why in the world G. Willow Wilson thought it was a good idea to throw in profiling in here. A stereotypical version of it. Yeah. And let's see. Then of course we have Red Dagger. That's this character right here. Teamed with Miss Marvel to stop a long train from crashing. It did kind of crash, but it did save lives, and it didn't do any damage to the city. And there's also stuff that's been going on since like the first arc, where apparently people think that Miss Marvel sold out, even though it's completely untrue, and there is no real evidence of the fact that somebody bought her image without her permission. Yeah, there's some sentimentism here, but it's implied. It's not like downright stated, and all because and after the storyline, the mayor of Jersey City was booted out because of all the nonsense of basically arresting mutants and humans who basically did nothing wrong aside from the fact they have powers. Yeah, that's their only crime, is the fact they have powers. Were these people committing crimes? Not that I know of. So basically, it's bigotry. So basically, the G. Willow Wilson decided to throw on the whole bigotry thing that the X-Men have been battling since the 1960s. I don't know why. Oh yeah, and Becky, aka Lockdown, yeah, she's arrested along with the fake police. Yeah, they're all arrested, but it's in the storyline. The team up with Red Dagger, that's interesting because she had met him when she took a visit to Pakistan. Yeah, and apparently he decided to, move to Jersey City. He's like, oh, you're from here? He didn't know that he actually thought she was a native Pakistan because, well, she's Arabic. Now, this character has been around now for about almost 5 years. Do we have a problem with the fact she's Arab? No. Do they force it down the throats every issue that she's Arab? No, because G. Willow Wilson knows her readers, and she doesn't need to remind people every single issue, unlike Gabby Rivera with the America book, of reminding people about the character's sexuality. In the case of this, we don't need to be reminded. G. Willow Wilson knows her readers know that she's Arab. Or at least Islamic. Yeah. Do people care? No, don't care. As long as she's a good character, and she's written well. Though this leads into the storyline go right now for, I think it's like teenage ways, with people posing as Miss Marvel. Yeah, for some reason, G. Willow Wilson decided to have this current arc right now where people are posing as Miss Marvel, and Carol Danvers is going to be involved too, which is going to be interesting. Heck, does he want to shoot going to come out soon? Or she's going to be Miss Marvel for like one issue, which is going to be interesting. But despite the whole bigotry stuff that happened throughout a good chunk of the storyline, the stuff with her is written really well. Oh yeah, and the fake cop tried to arrest Umbrella because, well, they thought he was, and of course, all he was doing, get this, all he was doing was bringing over some food. He was carrying over a big heavy pot that was very hot, and he was having a dinner with his wife, which, by the way, his wife is actually able to be pregnant. Yeah, his wife is pregnant. Like 9 months pregnant and ready to basically burst, and basically having Camilla Khan become an aunt, which that is going to be interesting. A teenager being an aunt. Yep. I think her brother's, I think it's in his 20s. Yeah. But him being a father, that is going to be interesting stuff to see later on. But I'm going to give this book a 9 out of 10. The only reason I'm going to give him 9.5 is despite being a good story, it's because G. Willow Wilson did the whole bigotry thing, which I think is getting really old. But lucky enough, it's only one storyline, not the whole emphasis of the character like it was with the X-Men. Next up is a character of a series that I really wish is not getting canceled because the next issue is the last one. I really love this title. I'm sure my friend Tivia loves this title too because it features features a good character. Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Volume 2, Mask, which contains, this book collects Hawkeye Volume 5 issues 7 through 12. And pretty much, yeah, it continues the whole thing. I kind of think of the series as kind of like Marvel's take on Robin Hood, the Robin Hood ongoing series of a private eye archer in a major city just solving crimes. Which is the same emphasis that kind of, I think that Marjorie Bennett was trying to do for Angela Asgard's Assassin for the last 2 issues of the series. I think she was trying to get that emphasis of the idea of doing that, but I think Kelly Thompson, who was the writer of this, I guess she figured out, okay, I'll try that, and it's really good. And there's a detective in here who's actually a good supporting character for her, and her father, Derek Bishop, shows up in here as well. Now, there's 2 artists in these issues. For issue 7 to 11, which is basically a 5-part story, it's written by Leonardo Romero, and the last issue is done by Michael Walsh. Yeah. And apparently it's also revealed in here that Derek Bishop, Kate Bishop's father, apparently he's got powers similar to that of the Purple Man. Did he borrow some Purple Man's blood? Now, I don't know much about Derek Bishop anyways, Kate Bishop's father. I know he's a rich man, though he has his own publication firm, fine. But I get the fact I remember from the previous Matt Fraction Hawkeye series that Derek Bishop is a criminal. And for some reason, he's still allowed to run his business despite the fact he's a known criminal. Do people chastise Katie Bishop for being the daughter of a supervillain despite being a superhero? No. People don't care at all. Because Kate is not like her father. And plus the whole thing with Madame Mask. Yeah, for some reason, Matt Fraction started this thing where Madame Mask is made to be Hawkeye's, Kate Bishop's main villain, which she appears in like almost every issue of this, pretty much most of this entire series. And there's also a fight club which gets shut down, and there's this one guy who actually just a victim, and it was, let's see, yeah, and detective, she asked the detective to let the guy go, but because he has a daughter waiting on him, and it didn't seem like he was going to leave town because, well, the guy probably can barely afford to pay bills, so I highly doubt he has money to flee town. Let's see, what is this? And there's a 50 guns joke in here, which I thought was so hilarious. And also, there's also the joke, this recurring thing about green peas, like she's obsessed with green peas. And here's another supporting character that I kind of forgot was in the book. You recognize this dog? That's Lucky, the pizza dog. A character Matt Fraction created. Everybody loves this dog, so I guess that this is just my personal theory that Kelly Thompson must have known that people love this dog, so yeah, I guess that's the reason why they have her keep the dog. Of course, there are flashbacks to her father, and there's even an issue in here where she teams up with Laura and Gabby, aka Wolverine and Honey Badger. Yep. And of course, their Wolverine pops up in here, and apparently their Wolverine Jonathan gets along so well with Lucky, which I thought was so hilarious. Two animals who apparently very cute level creatures get along really well, which is interesting. And I guess Katie Bishop's now got her PI license because the first story is her like complaining, oh yeah, she doesn't have a PI license yet, despite the fact she has her own investigation company, which is called Hawkeye Investigations. Interesting name. But she's not the only PI in the Marvel Universe. There's also Jessica Jones and Jessica Drew. Yep. So by far she's one of the three. Oh yeah, they even mentioned in here. Laura mentioned in her guest star appearance. She even mentioned what happened in the pencil issue of Gary Duncan's run for Uncanny Avengers, where Rogue made out with Deadpool. It's like, okay, and this is actually one of two books that brings that up. They also bring this up in the first issue of Gambit and Rogue. Yeah. So apparently, I guess every writer is like, okay, let's have everybody mention the whole thing about Rogue and Deadpool making out. Probably because it's the most hilarious thing to ever happen in the Marvel Universe in the past 2 years. Yeah, and apparently, as far as I can tell, I should point this out though, Madame Mask is in a clone body that looks exactly like Katie Bishop. And it's also revealed in here that Derek Bishop, Katie Bishop's father, murdered her mother. Yeah, this one on the cover with this upside down triangle, that's actually Kate Bishop's mother. And apparently, one of her friends is now her boyfriend now because she made out with him at the end of the storyline. And then by the end of issue 12, the original Hawkeye shows up. Clint Barton, which leads into the last storyline of the series. This, by far, is really good. I just kind of wish Marvel was not canceling this really good title. Now, the whole thing with SJW thing, I've heard this thing thrown around. What's that basically enforced in here? Not really, no. It's just a series of a character just beating up bad guys and helping the police. And she's probably by far the only superhero in Marvel Comics who's actually active in LA, which is actually pretty ingenious, the fact that Kelly Thompson had her basically based out of LA. But she's not the first person to do that. Matt Fraction had to move out to LA during his stories, her stories for the previous volume for the Hawkeye series. Now, for this particular book, I'm going to get this one a very high rating, and I highly recommend getting this along with the first volume and the last volume for this trade series. I just kind of wish Marvel would not cancel this title. Excuse me. I'm going to give this a 9.75 out of 10. It's close to a 10, But it's not exactly perfect, but it's just really, really damn good. I think for a lot of people, if they read this title, if they read this in trade, they're like, why in the world did Marvel cancel this series for? A lot of people probably think, oh, the series got canceled due to low sales. Is the series terrible? No, it has the similar feeling that people love about the Matt Fraction Hawkeye series. Something that was kind of, a little bit missing in the Jeff Lemire run, but at least the characters were interesting. And this is interesting as well. And it doesn't feel like, let's say, what Matt Fraction did, where he stretched out to like pretty much his entire run is like one complete story. At least this kind of feels like a good series, and a series people should read. If you're a fan of this particular Hawkeye, I highly recommend it. Oh yeah, and there is a joke in here about, I think it said in one issue in here, but I think a lot of people know this in the Marvel Universe, that Kate Bishop is a better Hawkeye than the original one. Yeah, 9.75 out of 10. I highly recommend it. I'm going to get the first trade soon, so I can get my thoughts on that. Alright, so that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for episode number 539 and Doubleshot number 446. Okay, and that one will cover 2 Spider-Gwen trades. Yep. Actually, not 2 Spider-Man trades. It will be 2 other trades from Marvel. One, of course, is Spider-Man trade. I don't remember what the other one's going to be, but I know one is going to be Spider-Man. All right. But I'll tell you some next episode. Bye.